Because if he uses, Meghan doesn't have access to his inheritance money. That's incredibly important for you to know. Inheritance money is off limits for wives or ex-wives. Unless he buys a property in her name or Doria's name. Yes. This is Macho Man Harry. Isn't it amazing, guys? Now, I've seen so many things online say, oh my God, look, this is what separates the men from the boys. He doesn't even paddle. Of course he doesn't paddle. He doesn't paddle because he doesn't need to. These are man-made waves controlled by men. If you actually had to surf, you need to be at the ocean, open ocean, looking for the wave. And then you actually have to fight the wave, because when the wave is natural, you don't control it. You really don't control the wave. So this is, oh, macho man. I surf a little. And I can tell you that these things are the easiest thing. This is such a midlife crisis thing I've never seen. And of course, we have to see this now because, make no mistake, Harry and Meghan gave permission for this. This is very easy to ride. You can jump from anywhere. You can jump at any time because they control how long the wave goes for, how strong the wave is, the incline of the wave. This is what it's like. You can see him go for you can go for a long time until they decide the wave ends. It's not like in the ocean where you actually have to go and you have to do it really quickly, because if you don't, you'll miss the wave or you'll get in the wrong way and the wave will tumble you. What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment. And let's talk about those rumors of Harry buying a house in Portugal for Meghan. Because don't forget that the Daily Mail is saying it is our understanding. And now it's gone from Harry bought Doria and Meghan a house in Portugal to it is our understanding that Harry bought a house to, well, did he buy a house or did somebody else buy the house? So let's get into this and let's find out, where would Harry get the money to buy this house for Meghan? Which is absolute crap. Well, hello, beautiful people. If you haven't been here before, my name is Paula, and thanks to all of those who are returning, always who have been following me since Norway. Thanks to those of you who've gone with me everywhere, and those of you who just subscribed. And again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Those are free. Okay, and if you want to become a member, great. And don't forget to buy this Halloween merch I have. Everything I have goes to the school. So buy this really, really cool merch because it's awesome, I think, anyways. And I hope you like the designs, and it is for Halloween. So let's get into this. Where would Harry get the money? That Harry got $100 million from Netflix has been debunked, guys. Has been debunked. Harry did not get 100 million from Netflix. Okay. The most they got is maybe 5 million. Okay, let's push it to 10 million for the Harry and Meghan Netflix thing, which actually was a failure. At the beginning, people watched it, but most people, and this is where they make the serious money, is in the rewatching and watching the whole thing. Most people couldn't even finish the first episode or the second. Even the like the hardcore Sussex squad. So there's no money there. The one Live to Survive or whatever that they did, that they bought it from the Mandela Foundation. Meh. The one for Invictus. Meghan Markle's cooking show. Postponed till maybe 2025. Harry's polo thing. It's tanked before it's even come out because Nacho said, oh my God, this is not about Harry. I don't know why people thought it was about Harry. Could it be because Harry and Meghan put the headlines that it was about Harry and Meghan? I mean, I could be wrong, but all those headlines, so, oh, Harry and Meghan, Harry playing polo, Harry this, Meghan awkwardly giving that trophy to Harry. I mean, could it be that's why people got the wrong idea? Meghan being given a credit as an executive producer in spite of the fact that she knows nothing of polo. And you don't have to know anything about it. But she doesn't allow Harry to have a credit in any of her executive producer credit in any of her projects. But she's absolutely in Invictus Games Foundation's project. She's in there. She's executive producer to everything. And she's swindling the Invictus Games Foundation. These are all my thoughts and opinions. This is what I believe. She's swindling Invictus Games, which is why they fired 2 people from Canada, 2 incredibly respected directors. And this is why the CEO, who was from the beginning, suddenly quit. These people suddenly quit because they find something really shady financially and they don't want to be embroiled in that kind of scandal. So let's figure out. We know that they didn't get the $100 million. Harry did not get $20 million in advance from Penguin Random House or whatever the name is called. He gets $5 million per book published and he gets to share on the profits from sales. That's not very much money. That is not very much money, guys, because he has to pay taxes. I know people say that he doesn't, but he does pay taxes, and that is not donation. This is why they try to get everything through the Archwell Foundation. Okay? So that's $5 million. Let's say 20 million. Let's say they get, okay, let's be vulgar and say that they got $20 million from Netflix. Between Harry and Meghan, don't forget, Meghan gets her cut. Meghan doesn't share with Harry. That's where people are wrong. What's Meghan is Meghan's and what's Harry is Meghan's, okay? So Harry gets his cut, which goes to Meghan. But let's say Harry gets 10 million. We know that Meghan is not going to spend any money anywhere, that she is a free rider. She rides for free everywhere she goes. She's a grifter. And then Harry gets 5 million. Meghan didn't get very much from that, the stench of the bench. She didn't get very much of that. They have been getting $1 million or $500,000 per engagement, speaking engagements. So Harry doing those show up things on those charities. Those are paid appearances. Harry's getting a cut from African Parks charity. He is getting a cut. He just got paid a lot of money to raise funds for them. He gets a cut. The more money he raises, the more money he gets, because he gets a cut. He doesn't care that people are being murdered, raped, horribly treated. He doesn't care because as long as it doesn't affect his bottom line. He gets some sort of salary from Better Up, a percentage of all the sales made there. So yeah, and then guys, the money that Princess Diana left him, it's gone. She didn't leave him very much to begin with because she was worth 15 million pounds way back when, and when she died, taxes had to be paid, which is almost 40%. So Harry and William, between the two of them, they got about 8 million pounds. So that's 4 each. It was put on a trust and it earned some decent living in cash. And he was worth about 20 million by the time he married Meghan. So let's say that's about $25 million. The house that they bought in Montecito, $9 million cash. And then the mortgage, the security. They run through money like there's no tomorrow. Okay? Because Harry's is not accustomed to managing a home, managing a budget. Meghan is used to not managing a budget, but grifting. She tries to get everything for free like a little rat. So there we have that money. Let's say that he had about 30, 40 million. He still has to pay taxes. He still has to pay all the debt in that house in Montecito, which is about 2 million a year. Security is about 2-3 million a year. That's 5 mil. Then going out here, they try to grift as much as they can, and they try to get people to pay or to get it for free. So this is where it baffles me. I don't know if you know this, guys, but all of the royal wills are secret. We don't know what's left in the royal wills. Now, another thing, I don't know if you know this, but the monarchy, with the Queen's father, they were poor. They were not well off. They were not that well off. This is why they had this agreement that they would be subsidized by the government, because they were not well off. They lived in castles and stuff, but they were not well off. They really started making the fortune after Princess Elizabeth became queen and certain businesses started happening. But before then, they were not that wealthy. Another thing that you should know is that when King George VI died, in order to avoid paying taxes, they leave the inheritance to the next monarch, because the monarch in the United Kingdom does not pay inheritance taxes. They have saved billions of dollars in this. But it's really, really interesting because he didn't leave anything to the Queen Mother, because his death was very sudden. Also, he died in his sleep. And yeah, and back then the rules were that they were really not as wealthy as they are right now. So the Queen Mother didn't have any money. At the time of her death, the Queen Mother, Queen Elizabeth had to pay the overdraft of millions of pounds that the Queen Mother had, overused because she had no money. So I don't, and because we don't have access to royal wills, we will never, I think maybe 90 years or so, we will know what Prince Philip's inheritance was. But Prince Philip was also poor. He barely had the clothes that he wore when he married Princess Elizabeth. So Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was not wealthy. She did not have a trust fund to set for millions. And anything that she would have had, she would have left to the Queen in order for the state not to pay any taxes. For example, if King George VI had left money to his wife, then she would have had to pay taxes. Almost 40%. So that's not how it's set up. The outgoing king or queen always leaves the money or the funds to the incoming king or queen in order to avoid paying the taxes, the inheritance taxes. So I do not understand where these people are getting this from. Oh, that when Harry turned 40, the Queen Mother, he got $8 or $9 million or pounds from the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother was not that wealthy. Was not wealthy at all. She did live in luxury that the Queen Elizabeth subsidized. And any money she had would have been set up in such a way that it goes to the Queen, to her daughter, in order to avoid paying taxes. The same thing for the Queen. The Queen, before she died, 2 or 3 years prior, they had already arranged everything. She had set up trust. I mean, trust had been set up about 20, 30 years ago for it to stay in the family and to avoid paying taxes. And in order for them to avoid paying taxes, it has to go to the next monarch, which would have been Charles. Okay? So unless Charles gave Harry $10 million or $11 million, Harry did not get any money. Because do the math. Okay, let me put it this way. I'm gonna set up a $10 million trust fund for Henrik. So when he turns 40, he has 10 million. Where am I going to get the money? Where was the Queen Mother going to get the money from if she has no money? So this is something very interesting that, and now, and especially now that we know that royal wills are never disclosed. They are absolutely kept in secret. So how would they know? Where are they getting these numbers? Is it Harry who's putting it out? Now, it's very, very interesting also. Because Charles, one of his consortiums, one of his LLCs, one of his things, bought property and is one of the investors in Eugenie's and Jack Brooks Bank development. So could it be that it is Charles who bought that and not Harry? Or he's gifting it to Harry? Because it's an LLC, we can't know who that owns, but only that he's an investor to that. Okay? So we know that Charles has a lot of LLCs that invest in real estate worldwide. So he has properties in New York. He has properties in Canada. He has properties in Italy. He has a property in Transylvania, I believe. And he has properties in Portugal. He has properties, I believe, in Spain. So it's very, very interesting. And he has a huge portfolio of properties. So was it Meghan was it really Harry buying a property for Meghan? These two people, what was it that Harry says? Well, now everything is space right now. Their relationship is in tatters. Meghan hasn't been able to produce one picture of them together, even if it's clueless Harry not knowing that he's being papped. She hasn't been able to get him to walk a parking lot, anything with her in order to quash these rumors because he's not with her. This video that you saw this guy posting is an old video. And again, it's not Action Man Harry because that's one of the easiest. That's actually kind of bitch thing to do, a female thing to do, or when you're learning to surf. Because the wave is absolutely controlled. You don't have to worry about the wave ending or how the wave shapes or how it changes movement when it goes over like that, because it's a man-made thing. It's controlled. So my question to you, beautiful people, how would the Queen Mother leave money to Harry and all of the other kids? Because apparently she left over, it would have to be to her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, that she left to all her great-grandchildren, which is like 6 or 7, $8 million or 8 million pounds. And if it was in a trust, it has to remain in a trust. Otherwise, he has to pay the taxes the minute he breaks it. So, but I don't know. I could be wrong. So please let me know what you think, because that thing that Harry bought an apartment for Doria, because Doria is included. Another thing that I believe is that maybe Doria and Meghan, from the $1 million they've grifted, they bought themselves something in Portugal. And this is something very important. Please, this is something very important. Meghan does not need to own property in Portugal in order to come to Portugal and have access to the Schengen Agreement. The United States passport is one of the few passports in the world. It's quite a few passports, and Europe is very relaxed. You do not need, once you enter a country that's part of the Schengen Agreement, you can roam through all of them, because that's part of the Schengen Agreement. Once you have a port of entry that belongs to the Schengen group, you can enter any. So that I don't understand what the hell they're talking about. You don't need a visa as an American to enter the Schengen in Europe. You don't. So please let me know what you think. Was it Charles who bought the apartment? And it's part of his consortium who's buying and investing in real estate worldwide with Eugenie and Jack Brooks Bank? Or do you think actually Harry, given the state of affairs in his marriage, is going to do that? I don't think so. And the reason why I believe that is because if he uses, Meghan doesn't have access to his inheritance money. That's incredibly important for you to know. Inheritance money is off limit for wives or ex-wives. Unless he buys a property in her name or Doria's name. Or is that part of the divorce agreement that Meghan wants a property somewhere else in her name and Doria's name in order for her? Is that part of the divorce agreement? Is that really what's going on? That buying that property for Doria and Meghan is part of the divorce agreement? And why would Harry buy something for Doria? Doria's not his wife. Or is she? Leave me your thoughts, beautiful people.